This is an Off the Tongue podcast. Welcome to Skate Mansfield.
What's up, Skate Ohio? I'm BJ Price.
I'm Adam McElroy.
And we have so much to talk about here on the podcast thing that we still do, even though that we don't do it very much.
It's also the first time you've ever said Skate Ohio, not Skate Mansfield.
That's true. Like it is.
So that threw me off. I was like, ah!
The podcast is the Skate Mansfield. The
channel's now Skate Ohio.
We're slowly, like everybody that asks.
The lines are blurring. They're starting to blur a little more.
They really are. We're trying to slowly move into all Skate Ohio stuff, and we're getting there. It'll be there eventually.
The podcast will always be called Skate Mansfield, though. But
that's true.
But the channel's Skate Ohio, because if we get other podcasts like Skate Toledo, Skate Worcester, they could potentially be on our channel.
If anybody wants to do all that out there, hit us up, I guess. That'd be fun.
We got room on the channel.
Yeah, man, we're out here. But dude, we have so much to talk about as we usually do, but we're going to all obviously talk local stuff because that's the most important. So I'm gonna hit the button and see if this works well.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Where's my Skate Park?
So the biggest stuff we have to talk about is first thing is we've got an event coming up on June 7th at Snow Trails. Snow Trails decided to partner with us. Adam reached out to him, has been talking with them this whole time, and they've given us the okay to do like a spot attack or attack the spot style event where we get to use we finally figured out that it's any parts of the ground.
Yep.
And we can skate there and hold an event. So it'll be just like any other, big California Thrasher event where there'll be cash for tricks and there'll be a spot winner. And
if you guys came to the winter sessions, think of it as like the best trick.
Yeah, like what we did there, which was dope. And you can still watch that winter sessions video over on our Patreon for free. It's free. We'll link it in the description. But the problem with that is like I made a Spotify list of music that's fun to skate to. That's safe for kids to listen to and everything. But the problem is YouTube doesn't like that, and it's just getting worse and worse.
I think it was 39 content strikes on that video.
That's a lot, dude.
So
I wonder what the record is.
At first, the crazy thing was, it was like, yeah, you're good to post this. Like, it's all good. But there's a lot here, but it's all good. Yeah. And it's like, cool.
You can't monetize this. Well, we're not trying to.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, let's go live then. And we posted it, and immediately it was like, no, dude, we were just kidding. You cannot do this.
It's like, y'all need to grow up. And we're like, oh, sorry, we meant to. But you can still.
We meant to.
You can check it out on our Patreon for free in full. Shout outs to everybody who helped us with that, clearly. And Stoke Run for Soundfall Media, who came out and did the whole thing and videoed it, and all of our camera runners,
all 700 of the sponsors. Thank you guys.
Bonkers, but that's dope. You should really go check that out. It was a good time. There was so many bangers, like tricks that went down, and oh man.
And so if you were there,
such good feelings about anytime I think about it. Just
spread the word. That's what this whole event is gonna be, is just like cash for landed tricks at least three different spots at Snow Trails. Yeah. So we'll take the whole group. We'll do one spot. We'll do whatever.
I think we'll have time. We'll be like, hey, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here. And then we'll be able to so the whole thing what we were talking about with the beats that we did. Yeah. So I reached out to Vaughn Robinson, Vaughn Doom. Follow him everywhere.
Shouts out.
My dude just had a big show over at the mothership, and apparently, I was just talking to him. It went so well. They made so much money, and he just said that he was so happy that he got to pay everybody, which is a good feeling.
That's the thing. I know we've talked about this before, but like the. Just like, I don't know. I don't want to do stuff for exposure. Like, that's always great, and I get that, and there is a lane for it, but it's like, give the dude a little bit of money, you know what I mean? So, But I was fully planning on actually coming out because I wanted the last couple, and then Harper's birthday was Saturday. Her birthday party was Saturday. Today's her actual birthday, but so she stayed with me Friday night. and then that way Jess could get all the food ready and all that for the next day. So I was like, man, I was totally planning on coming, but I got Harper tonight, so bummer. But
I mean,
I
hard.
shouldn't say bummer because Harper's the GOAT and I love her, but
right.
But yeah, I was planning on coming out and supporting, but
I ended up staying in as well. We had been, I was prepping for the next day, the Saturday, where we did the Ace Hardware thing. We'll talk about that a little later, but I ended up, Tim came over because he and I, like, since his father had passed, we'd just been talking about, like, we need to hang and just have a bro night.
Yeah.
And, just kind of fellowship and just, hang with each other and just kind of like, okay, let's have some good vibes because it's been rough lately for him. So we got to hang out and watch basketball and just talk and just
classic.
Have a good night. It was wonderful. So yeah, so shout out to my boy Tim.
You know what we should do? Speaking of movies and things like that and doing like scripts and whatever. The next guest we have on, get with them and see like what one of their favorite movies is that we all know
that we
and
can,
we'll do like a little scene reading, like it'd just be fun.
I think we made Tim be Padme on that last episode.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was very funny.
It's got to be something that we all relatively know. That way we can kind of get the tone.
So we know the tone and everything, or at least we can do some research beforehand. Yeah. But that was dope.
I think that'd be fun.
So yes, June 7th. Mark your calendars from 6 to 8 p.m. We got control of the grounds. Yeah. They gave us the okay to just start doing skateboard stuff there.
It's crazy because I sent him an email and like
we got a plaque.
Go ahead and pull that up real quick too.
I can do that.
But
kicked over my fan.
I emailed Snow Trails and like. You when you email these places that don't know who you are, you have to like give a little background of like, don't do that, bro.
I'm sorry.
But give a little background about like, who we are, what we do, blah, 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 the goal, blah, blah, blah. So I sent him probably a 4-paragraph email being like, hey, this is what we do. We love Snow Trails. We've been from here, like blah, blah, blah. And basically he emailed back like, yeah, that sounds good. And I'm like,
oh my gosh, it's going
okay, okay. And then I was like, but do this, and like, can we do this, and we're gonna do this, and he's just like, yeah, sounds great. I'm like, okay, but like, sending him multiple paragraph emails.
Thank you, Carson. I did get the episode you sent it to me. I'm in. I got it.
Love it. But yeah, shout out to Snow Trails because they've been super easy to work with for sure. I mean, everything we've asked them, we've even changed up the plans a little bit, and they're like, yeah, whatever you want to do. It's all good. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited for that while he's pulling up because we do have plaques provided by Lemon and Bean. So shout out to them. They're going to be creating the plaques for multiple different events that we have coming up of these same styles. We're shooting for, obviously, we got this one June. We're shooting for one in July and August and things like that. And I'm just stalling while BJ can't.
I apologize.
Figure out
it won't come up, and I apologize. I have to bring it up a different way. I think, and I think that's going to lag things if I do it this way. So we're gonna just try to do it quick. I'm sorry.
Can you go to Messenger and download it, and then just pull it up?
I'm just gonna go fast.
All right, go fast.
We
go
going fast. It still won't. It wants me to enter a PIN to sync my chat history. What's going on?
Yeah,
what is the PIN? How do I do that?
Facebook's been doing that lately. It's stupid.
Here's your one-time code. Okay, I got this. This was me.
BJ's 2-factor authenticating.
042.
But yeah, I'm really excited about this because it's going to be fun. What we want to know from you guys too, if you're going to, show up and skate and stuff, what couple obstacles do you want there?
Jeez. Okay.
Because we're going to put like a kicker or two. And yeah, look at that. That is the plaque. And it's actually, if you guys see in the top right of it, but it's the top left on the screen, there's a little hole there. Mm-hmm. She's going to put a black chain through that too.
It's going to be funny.
So that you can wear it. It's like 6 inches or 8 inches or something. It's massive.
She sent a picture of her holding it.
Yeah, and it's just like, as wide as her whole body.
That's big.
Yeah. But there's going to be like 2 or 3 of those made at least that we're going to give away at the events. Yeah, whoever has the best night, basically. We're not giving any scores or anything.
Hammer's done. It's gonna be a collective of what everybody's like, oh man, this is nuts.
Yeah. And again, cash for landed tricks and things like that. So come out. We're going to give away probably a good amount of money, so you might want to come
I
out.
think so. We're looking for sponsors and stuff,
This
too.
is one of the rare contests that some contests you have to pay to like participate and stuff.
Right. This is
a free contest where you will walk away with money. Like you will leave with money.
Exactly.
So,
You could just show up and just start doing hammers.
yeah.
Bigger flips down
Right.
down the weird sidewalk set that they have, and
Yeah.
just like, well, okay, here's
Yeah. There's going to be some kickers. There's going to be some
cash.
rails. There's going to be some moving of stuff. And,
Yes.
just it's going to be a good time. So
we'll be all
I'm
good
really
there.
excited about that. June 7th, come out. Tell everybody.
Friday, June 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's going to be fun.
We
We're
should
gonna have a good
probably
time.
open it up around 5 or so.
Right.
Let people warm
we'll
up.
be
Maybe
there.
5:30, something like that.
Let people see the spots and see what's
yeah.
going down, so they
Yeah.
can get some practice runs in. So it's going to be a good day, please, and just share that with anybody you know, so that just the public can come out and cheer these kids on, and cheer these people on.
With that too, obviously we are a nonprofit. That's kind of the whole point of this whole thing.
Yep.
So we are looking for a sponsor too for the event. Just one single sponsor, most likely, and we're gonna have a sponsor for this event, the next event, and the next event. In theory, if we got people to sign up,
It'd be dope.
But it's a lot cheaper than you think to have a whole pop-up event that's
Kind of
provided by Brass House Boardroom or provided by whoever, Newman Tech, whatever.
Because we have a lot of things already in place that we can just have to take and plug in and make happen. So that's kind of what we're doing. So keep an eye on that. But June 7th, mark your calendars. Next, we have to talk about Shelby. So if you've been following us at all, you know that we've been working locally to get a lot of stuff done. We've been working with the Village of Lexington, which has been...
they've been the most receptive. I haven't personally talked to Shelby, I shouldn't say, but...
So, no. You're right. Lexington's been very receptive, but there's been a lot of red tape as well to make sure that certain things can get done. We're working to we have changed some things in how we're going to do that, so we need a little less money, but we still need about $70,000 to get the concrete we need. I just inhaled my own spit and I'm gonna die. But so we're trying to get some things done there. We just want that park to be skatable again. So if you know a company that wants to come alongside, the one big thing that I think people don't understand is a company that's going to fully fund it. It's a non-taxable donation that is a write-off, and two, the village has agreed that if somebody fully funds it, they get to rename the park with they have to approve it, but they can rename
within
it.
Reason,
So if we had C&G, who's a big company that's in that town, if they came to us and said, "Yeah, here's $70,000," it'd be like, "Cool, this is the C&G Lexington, Ohio skate park."
Yeah, that will live on for decades, quite
forever.
literally.
And the other big thing that I've been trying to press upon people is I'm like, well, we're in deep with Richland Source and Ashland Pages, Knox Pages, the Source Media team, the News Journal, OH Report, WMFD. They're coming out to cover the Snow Trails thing. I didn't tell you.
Oh, nice.
I caught him at the Ace Hardware thing, and I'm like, hey, man, we're doing this thing over here. And he's like, I remember interviewing you. He's like, if you want me out there, I'll be out there. So.
The guy that came to interview? Nice, nice.
So,
I forget his name,
but I don't think people realize that the first person to fund one of these parks that we're doing is going to get all
the exposure.
All of the exposure. It's going to be like, hey, Skate Ohio finally got this funded, and it's all because of blank. You know what I mean? So
and from not to be greedy's not the right word, but not to be, I don't know the right word for it, but basically, you're gonna get from a marketing standpoint, the value of your donation, you're gonna get that in marketing within 3 months, because there's gonna be multiple articles.
I'd say 3 months is a good.
There's gonna be building days that we're all gonna post about. There's gonna be,
and they'll get tagged every time.
Yep.
And we're just all gonna be standing there in the videos like, hey, we're working on this. Thank you, C&G. Thank you, McDonald's. Thank you, whoever's doing this.
Not to mention, most likely, if a company wants to do this, obviously there will be something to signify that it's CNG park or whatever, whether that be an actual physical sign or some type of sign somewhere. I'm sure something will be worked out that'll be visible down that main road in Lexington by thousands and thousands and thousands of people per day. Yeah,
which is nuts. So it's like hopefully they'll get on board with that. So we're working with there. We're also working with Shelby, and I just met with Shelby locals to solidify what we're going to change at the Shelby Park. Cam came out there. There was a picture.
I actually said that to Brennan too, and he's like, oh, so it'll be like Cam's custom park, and I'm like, no, but like, we're going to the people that will be there the most often. It's like, what do you want? So
and everything we've done to design it is
he
designed
said that in a positive
flow.
way. I should say, by the way.
But when we talked about it, it was a design to flow, and it was like something where I'm like, here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Is this okay? And he was like, yes, that's perfect. And then he's like, what about this? And this. You know? And we really
we had the
we
skeleton.
designed it. Yeah. We designed it so that it's basically 50-50 at this point. 50% of like what we will work we'll do ourselves, and 50% the ramps we need to order from ARC. So shout out to Asa Beckham, who has been helping me through this whole thing. There will be, I think it'll be another week. He said about 2 weeks, and that was about 6 days ago that I met with him. And he and his team at ARC in Montana are making a rendering of of the park design of what we want at Shelby. Here's the big update for that. I approached a company in Shelby. I could not tell you what it's called now, but everybody that I've talked to in Shelby calls it Tubi, because it used to be called Tubi. It's a metal manufacturer company in Shelby, and actually everything around the skate park in Shelby was called Tubi Town back in the day, because they built all those houses to house the people who worked for Tubi. So
gotcha.
When I approached them, they were like, it was several days of me like showing up and being like, hey, this is who I am. Here's what we're trying to do. I really want you guys to be involved because of these things, because I just the little bit of information I kept getting from people in town. And then I'm like, hey, you guys can name the park and all this. And the person who I was talking to, they're like, I need an email with all of your information, all of the information of what you want to do, pictures, everything, and then links to what you have done. And then, the advertising opportunities that make it, more, like, she was trying to be very
more
diplomatic.
Financially
yes, she's
relevant,
like she's like, I need to know. She's like, we need to know that it's going to benefit us in some way. Which is like, she was trying to say. She's like, I don't want to say something like that, but it's like,
that's a trade. Yeah,
yes, it's more like, tell us how it's beneficial to this company. And so I gave her all of that information, and I told her, like, hopefully we're going to be able to, I'm hopefully going to be able to go and present in front of them, because I also told her, I'm like, here's all my information, here's everything. I would be happy to come present and say, just in person, say, here's what we've done, here's what we're doing, here's where we're going.
One thing to keep in mind too for those conversations, because obviously from a marketing and really financial standpoint, because again, like, this is what business is. Like, it's not a secret that you're doing this to help your business, and that's fine.
Yes.
That's what we want. Like, we're
fine with
thing.
that.
Yeah. So one thing to include in those presentations is Google.
Yeah.
Because anybody that searches for skate parks in the area, it's going to pop up Tubi Skate Park.
Yes.
And anytime they tag their location in any post, is going to say, we're at Tubi Skate Park.
Yes.
So that's another big deal. That
is a good thing. Shout out to Brandon, by the way. Thanks
online
for
presence.
It's very true.
Around. So yeah, shout out Brandon.
Hopefully, they will talk to us soon, and it's something that they will consider. Because I've told all these companies, I'm like, if you fully fund what we're trying to do, and this is what we're trying to do. And
again, Shelby's significantly less too, because the concrete's okay.
We need about $30,000 to make Shelby
exactly what we want. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
and it'll have the ramps that we need and then the features that we need that we can build with local help.
Yeah.
And
I do want to say, too, it's dope that you met up with Cam, and I know that was obviously the plan all along, but the reason I like that, to dive in a little deeper, too, is because, like you said, we had like a skeleton, and he put in some touches, too, because just the matter of the fact is, you like park skating, right? So that's kind of where your mind goes. And he's a street skater. Obviously, he can do transition great as well. But I like that meeting of the minds where he's like, well, let's put this here. Maybe we'll move a quarter over here or whatever it is. So it'll be a place to skate for everybody.
So to bring awareness to what we're doing in that area as well, we want to do a community event here soon as well. We were talking about maybe Father's Day weekend. A weekend in June would be perfect for us to be
maybe
there. We'll bring out ramps to kind of like big up that area. We'll bring out a grill and make hot dogs for everybody. But a big thing that we'll talk to you in the community here soon. Mark your calendars when we figure out exactly what this date's going to be. But I think a big thing is going house to house in everything that surrounds that park to be like, hey, here's who we are. Here's what we're doing. We need you to help us kind of police this park because it is a magnet for graffiti and bad things going on in that park. But we also want to really fix those basketball courts that are right there as well. We want to put one of our sports boxes there as well. But it would be better if we had buy-in from everybody, like those 100, probably 100 houses that surround that whole area, who want to help us and be involved.
It would be kind of cool because, again, as you guys know, if you've been watching or listening or have been around us at all, if there's a word that comes out of any of our mouths, immediately both of us are like, okay, thoughts. How do we do this? How do we... So we're talking about an event for Father's Day, give or take. And I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't do it on Father's Day, but maybe that weekend. But then I was like, what would be cool? This is all while I'm actively listening to you in the last 2 minutes.
Sure.
But maybe it would be cool to do it on like Father's Day evening and do like hey, bring your dad to the event. And like, let's celebrate dads.
Let's celebrate the dads in our community.
Yeah, let's come out, hang out with everybody's dad because, too, dads talk about other things that's going on. You know what I mean?
Dads are in the community and they're talking to the people. That's the big thing that we do.
But bring your dads. That'd be cool to have a little cool skate pop up. We'll make some dogs, some burgers for some pop.
That'd be so dope.
Yeah,
just
bring
to be
your
able
dad
to give
to the
out,
skate park. That'd be
give
so
out hot
fun.
dogs to dads.
Yeah.
Every dad loves a good dog.
Yeah.
Right?
A glizzy, yep.
Every dad loves a glizzy.
We could work glizzy into the title somehow, too.
We'll figure it out.
Glizzy giveaway. Like,
yes.
I don't know. We are giving away glizzies, though, for sure.
Yeah, dude, for sure. So, yeah.
We're open to opportunity or to thoughts,
suggestions and everything for that. So, but realistically, everybody I've been talking to, like, I'm like leaning in and I'm like, listen, you don't understand. Shelby's probably going to happen first.
Yeah.
I have enough buy-in with enough people in that area that this could happen. It's something that we can make happen.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is the beginning of June is our cutoff date that we need to order the ramps that we need to get it done this year. And if anybody who hears this, if you know a company that might be interested, send them this clip to just say that this guy will come talk to you, and I'll lay out everything that we're doing and what we're trying to do and all of the opportunities for the company. Just reach out to us so we can make it happen. Is your phone going crazy?
Yeah,
it is farting over there,
Harper's
dude.
Calling.
Oh,
but she's good. I'll call her back in a minute.
But yeah, we want to get Shelby done. We want to get Lexington done. But another big thing that everybody needs to know is we've kind of pivoted on our mindset for the Mansfield parks as well. So I've been in talks with Jody Perry, and we're trying to figure out the best committee that I need to go talk to. We want to pivot to more micro parks. We don't want to have one big park because we're finding out that a lot of people in these communities aren't able to travel. So we want to build more smaller parks in more, communities that we could come in and have events and be like, and build a single feature that's like, whoa, that's a cool feature to skate. So that we can have more events and that kids can just walk to the park and, learn and all of that stuff after we're not there. So those parks are going to be around $5,000 to do. But a smaller business could have an advertising opportunity to come to, let us know, hey, we have $5,000. Yeah. We want to help you out. We'll sponsor Maple Lake Park. So
and
Maple
keep
Lake
in mind
Park.
too, like to what you were saying about advertising, like the same rules apply for these. If you pay the full $5,000, this is the Maple Lake, whatever Lemon and Bean Park.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like,
so it's a less of a buy-in than the $70,000 that we need for Lexington, the $30,000 that we need for Shelby. These smaller $5,000 parks will still make a big impact in the community where we can come in and really reach out to the community and have fellowship and everything with the kids and people in that community and grow it from a smaller standpoint, but it's still important.
And that's another thing too, because again, Shelby's going to take a while, Lexington's going to take a while, blah, blah, blah. Say, for example, if somebody calls us tomorrow, we got $5,000, blah, blah, blah. Here you go, sent, sweet. We can have this built within a month.
Yes,
maybe.
Within a month is a good time frame. We can
maybe
have
a little
something
quicker,
important.
but yeah, we can have that skatable, give or take, within about a month.
I would say that's
4 to 6
accurate.
weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. You
4
know
to
what
6
I mean?
weeks
Before the summer's up, you could have your own businesses, skate park, locally active, skating, and helping kids.
That's constant. Like every build day, we're bigging you up and saying, "Hey, these people gave us this money to make this happen." And
again, probably I'm sure
shared. I mean, all
Richland Source is going to come out.
Oh, 100%.
Who else? Everybody else.
They're waiting for us to call them. With this, I've been there to talk to them.
Yeah, we have multiple connects inside that building.
Yes,
and multiple departments within that building. So anything you need.
Dude,
we got you covered.
So the micro parks are a big thing. So please reach out to us if your business is something that's like, hey, we got $5,000 that we need to donate for the year. Hit us up.
For your taxes too.
Yes, and because we can give you a donation letter, a gift in kind, whatever it is you need to put towards your taxes to make it better for your business and make it better for the community. It's a win-win.
Yep.
So with that in mind, we've done a couple events here recently. We had the Richland After Hours.
That was super fun.
It was so much fun.
Such a great turnout too.
Because Adam and I were very reluctant. It was
reluctant's not the right word. I would say skeptical.
We were very skeptical.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, I don't know if anybody's going to show up. Right. I don't know if this is going to blah blah blah. And it turned out like a lot of different
not necessarily our scene kind of thing, but and it was super cool.
It turned out that a lot of people who don't normally come to our events showed up and had fun, and we got to talk to some new people. And shout out Zach Heiser for letting us do that. And we're doing it again on September 13th is the next one that we're invited to come do. So please mark your calendars, Friday the 13th. Woo, spooky. Come to that one. It's going to be fun. We're going to set up ramps again. We're going to have some fun, listen to music,
and
have
I will
free
say
beer
too,
and skate. Just
to give them a little bit of plug as well, because I think they potentially might still be having one on Go Skate Day, right?
They are. But we're coming back on the September 13th.
But still, hit up Brass House, because I'm sure Brass House is going to have some crazy deals and whatever it is on that day. Scoot out right back, see a show. I don't know if we'll be there as far as like ramps and go, but we might physically be there. You know what I mean? So
it'll be fun.
Yeah, so it'll still be a good time for sure, and it's right outside, literally right outside the back door of Brass House Board.
Yeah, which was fun to just kind of do. We could just
I've actually
float in and out.
I know we've talked about it. I've been in the building part where Brass House is since I've been about 3 years old.
Right. We've
so
talked about that.
My grandparents actually had their shop in that same section of that building.
So crazy.
Since I was a child. So yeah. that whole back patio, like walking up the back steps. I'm like, this is weird. Like,
That's so funny.
it was cool though. Yeah.
Just another shout out is we had Kids Skate Day last weekend, last Saturday.
Yep.
And which was what day was that? I don't remember. I guess by the time this comes out, 2 weeks ago Saturday, and
13th maybe, I don't know,
something like that. But it was such a good 13th. Day. They had they ended up having, I think, 63 kids.
So many, yeah.
It was a lot, and I'm gonna do my best not to cry. So I was helping a kid named Aaron. He was trying to just land kick turns and stuff on a ramp. And I was helping him forever.
Determined. I was watching.
He was so determined
because he was doing stuff right next to Harper, so I was seeing it too. Yeah.
So I had a couple kids there, and I was helping 2 kids while the others moved on to something else. And I'm like, no, these kids got this. I'm gonna stay here with them. You move on with this. Yeah. And so we were doing that, and I'm like, wait a second, your board isn't that great? Let me grab you another. I grabbed him one of our boards that we can give away. And he's just he's getting it, and he got it several times, and I'm like, see. This is what we're talking about. It's reps.
Consistency.
Consistency, doing it. Just trying. You're going to get better. You will. Don't stop.
You're going to understand how to turn your body and lean. And
exactly. And just kind of giving him those little things that you learn over years. It's no. It's all in your shoulders when you turn it. Turn those shoulders. Your body goes with it. Blah, 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 blah.
Stick your butt out a little bit.
Yes.
Use it as a counterweight.
It was so fun. It was such a fun kids skate day.
It was awesome.
And at the end, I got to I told this kid, I'm like, hey man. So he's like, I know you had a crappy board. You said it was left out in the rain. Are you gonna leave this board out in the rain? And he's like, what? And I'm like, do you promise not to leave this board out in the rain? He's like, yeah, no, I would never do that. And I'm like, cool, it's yours. And he's like, no. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean no? I'm like, this is your board now. It's dope. I'm excited to give this to you. You worked so hard. You earned this. This is yours. Yeah. And he was just so shell shocked. He's like, I have no money. I'm like, I don't want your money. I want you to skate.
Right.
And it was just insane. He just grabbed me and wouldn't let go and just started crying. And he's like, oh, dude. He's like, thank you. I can't pay for this. I'm like, I don't want you to pay for this.
Right.
I want you to skate.
Yeah.
And it's that's the story.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's the story. That's there. We want that.
Yeah.
We want nothing but that. We want kids to show up, show determination, and be like, yeah. Because we all, you and I both see that. We're like, we had that exact thing.
That's the best. Yeah.
We were learning to kick turn, and we kept falling.
Yep.
But we kept with it.
Yep.
When we see that with another kid, we're just like, yep. What can I do to help you do that?
And I think too, that was so awesome to see too, because I didn't see that part. You told me about that, and that was the coolest thing. But the reason that's so awesome is because if you ask anybody that's been skating for any amount of time, pretty much, they'll make the correlation of what has this taught you? And pretty much everybody says this taught me how to manage life.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Everybody's
the ups and the downs and the pushing
because you
through
fall,
it and
pushing through pain.
Yeah. And being determined and then accomplishing a goal and putting in all the work to make that happen. And the reason those moments are so cool is because we all had that as a kid from one thing or another. And some of us had to do chores for 3 months to get a board and all that, and some of us
talked about that. Yes,
didn't even get a chance to get a good board and things like that. So we want to give these opportunities to kids that really deserve it, and put forth the effort, and hopefully this makes an impact one way or another. Not necessarily that we made the impact. That's not what's important, but skateboarding made the impact. You know what I mean? So,
and that's the big thing is I want to just directly talk to him. Aaron, don't stop. You had it. You know what you were doing. You were fighting hard for it, and it's worth it. Keep with it because it's worth it. It's going to give you that feeling every time you go out there and you learn something new. It's worth it. Don't stop. And you had it. Like there's a lot of times, Adam, we see a kid on a board, we know that kid's going to just, they're going to walk away. It's not going to be their thing.
You can tell in body language, almost immediately. I shouldn't say immediately, but you can tell who gravitates towards it and who doesn't.
Yeah, and it's
who's on it as a toy versus a hobby.
Exactly.
That's a very different thing.
It was a big thing when WMFD asked me. They're like, "What do you want to tell people who want to start skateboarding?" I'm like, "You need to be okay with pain."
Yep.
That is
That's
the
what I
number
tell
one
everybody.
thing.
Yep. It's gonna hurt for a long time.
Exactly. When I was seeing like Aaron and these other kids who were like falling in a way where I'm like, I remember that. Oh my gosh, it hurts so bad. And they get up and they grab the board and they reset themselves and they're like, here we go.
I will say,
and I'm just like, yep, that's the eye. Like you were like, yep, that hurt really bad, but no, I got this.
And I will say too, it made me somewhat a little bit emotional too, because Harper was there and she's been on a board a couple times. She's never really been like fully
Dude, I had
into
her going.
Yeah. And well, yeah, like there was basically a moment where she was in line and like practicing pushing and things like that. And so I walked over to like the Brass House tent and stuff because I hadn't checked in yet or anything. And I look over, and Harper's always been on like scooters. That's kind of been her thing. She turned 6 today, so like, you know. But even when she's been at Liberty before, like she'll fall and like pretty much give up. Right,
she'll be like, I'm okay.
Yeah, like and just want to go home or whatever. And I'm over at Brass House, the tent, which is like across the whole park. And I look over and she's pushing and she falls right onto her knees.
Oof.
And just immediately stands back up, literally brushes her knees off, picks up her board and gets back in line. And not because Amanda was there and was like, oh, you'll be like, she just did that all herself. And I was like, she's in.
That was the thing is like, there was a part where like you need to run off for a second. And I was just like, I'm like, let her. She can hang with me for a bit. I had the other kids going and I had her going, and it was just like every piece. And I'm like, okay, you got that part. Now, when you put this other foot on, turn it this way. Yeah. And she's like, okay.
That's what we were working on, is that front foot pivot a little bit. Yeah.
And I'm like, and
she would leave it straight a little.
Yep. And I would get her out. Like we had several like perfect ones where I'm like, okay, these are the 3 things that we're doing on this run. And she would just like step on and then pivot her foot. And then we would do it. And she would come back down the ramp. And I was like, yes. Yeah. Those are the things that us, I guess it's the older ones of us, the ones of us who probably have kids and everything, we're seeking helping in that. So
that was also the other cool thing too, because, you know, again, shout out Amanda and go on Instagram and follow at Kids Skate Day. Go do that right now. So shout out Brass House. Shout out the Liberty DIY crew. Heart of Stoke, which we'll talk about them again in a minute as well. But shout out to them for putting on the event. We just kind of brought a little bit of ramps here and there where we could, but it definitely wasn't our event. We were just helping out a little bit. Yep. But I want to shout out all the parents who weren't skaters.
And also,
just stood right next to their kids and followed Amanda and Sarah's instruction and held their hands and like was really there for these kids and learning with them, and it was the coolest thing ever.
But even better is the day later, getting those messages that said like, "Hey, this changed my kid's life."
Right.
And it's just like you're just sitting there reading and you're scrolling. Right. You're like, you're crying. Right. I'm not crying.
I'm not leaking. You're leaking.
You're leaking. Who's cutting onions over here? Right. This is not cool. But yeah, there was a lot of those messages, and it really made a huge.
That's what it's about. Like it makes. I could care less about the money, and like obviously we don't make any money, but I could care less about all that.
This has cost both of us so much money.
I don't want to talk about it. That's about it. The messages and just the honestly, not even the looks people give us and things like that. Like that's enough. That's enough.
Somebody's sending us a heart on social media and stuff, but it's exhausting to us. It is.
We both have full-time jobs and children.
Yes, and I've got 3 kids. He's got a young kid. Yeah. It's hard to balance.
Especially like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, fine. And again, it's never about money. It will never be about money, but it's so hard when it's like, we're doing all of this and literally $0.0 is going into our pockets. That's great.
Just effort.
We know that, and that's the plan, and that will remain that way.
Yes.
But it's just like, this is so much money or so much time and effort for nothing financially, which is
behind the scenes for the Kids Skate Day was like me running and like grabbing one of my kids, my middle son Weston helped me a little bit, running, and then counting on volunteers to show up and help me load stuff, and then taking that stuff to the event and dropping it off, and then knowing that after it everybody's exhausted and they leave and I load it all up pretty much myself. Well, we had a couple people load it up with me while we were there. Hardest Stoke helped me, obviously, and we loaded all that up. But once I got back to the warehouse, I knew it was me alone to unload all this heavy stuff and put it away and make sure it's secured and everything, and then go drop the trailer off
into
and then
our
go
warehouse.
home, and then we have a warehouse now. Shout out to Jim. I love you, Jim Oberlin. Thank you for helping us.
Yeah.
But doing all that alone and then getting home and just being so exhausted. But then you have kids who want to play wiffle ball, and so you're gonna be pitching for wiffle ball for the next 5 hours,
right? Because
it's what your kids want to do.
Well, so that was the thing.
It is worth it.
Yeah.
But the big part of that is coming home and the family being like, "How did it go?" And I'm like,
perfect.
This kid grabbed me and wouldn't stop crying because I helped him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain that feeling.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know how to explain this, but this was why. You know what I mean? So it's all good, and we're happy to power forward, and we'll continue to do all this, but just so everybody knows, we are working hard. I know there's times where it's just like there's no updates and there's nothing going on. There's working.
Always updates, to be fair. It's just like there's no
we don't have time to tell
video.
People.
Yeah, there's so many updates that we have no time to record something.
My personal goal every day, every single day, I'm not working, weekends, nights, doesn't matter. Every single day I tell a new person about the nonprofit and what we're doing, and ask somebody, how can they help us? Right. How can they help us get this stuff done? That is my personal goal. I'll either make a cold call and call a company. I'll walk into a business. I'll tell a stranger that I meet on the street. I will all these things. That is something I do every single day to push this forward, and I'm going to continue doing that. It's sometimes it's not fun, and sometimes I get to the end of the day and I'm like, I didn't do that today and I'm exhausted, but then I'll just, I'll shoot off an email and I'll be like, you know what? I'll look up a company and be like, hey, this is who we are, and just, figure it out. But it needs to happen. Yeah. It's the only way we're going to get it done.
Right.
So, just
Kids Skate Day ruled. It was the overall point.
Such a great feeling. It was a beautiful day. Shout outs to everyone who was involved with that. We have a warehouse now. Jim Oberlin has graciously given us a section of a warehouse that we can keep a lot of our ramps that we've built that we can take to these different events. Shout out to him. Thank you. Ace Hardware. So we did an Ace Hardware day. Ace Hardware had their grand opening here in Mansfield, and we got to have a table there. I was so skeptical at the beginning. There was nobody there, and I'm just like, this was stupid. I shouldn't have been here. And blah, blah, blah. And shout outs Rocky Tracy and Mary Tracy, who came out and helped. Rocky showed up, but then a family emergency happened and he had to leave. And I'm like, great, this is going to be worse because I'm by myself. Or one of my kids were tagging in and out. My wife kept dropping off a kid and picking up a kid to kind of help me. And, but it was me talking a lot. And if you've never done something like that, you don't know how exhausting it is.
It really is, especially. And I didn't know your setup. That was the exact time that Harper's birthday party was.
It's not your fault.
I know, but I'm just saying, especially for the one we did at their other store, even there, again, not a big deal, but just standing for 3 hours. It's man,
and just continuously saying the same thing over and over again.
And but somebody actually, I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but somebody asked me the other day too, what is this about? What would you? And it was somebody I was really close to and telling them, about it. And I was like, bro, I've said this 7,000 times in the last week, but it is
So, but I got the spiel going and I was working it. And then it just started building. And then Rocky and Mary were able to come back and help because I had to keep walking away to it's Ace Hardware is kind of where I kind of work as well. So a lot of the employees were like, "Hey, BJ, you know this stuff, right?" And I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And then I go help and do all that stuff. For this random table at this random grand opening, we made over $400.
Crazy.
For the nonprofit.
Crazy.
And shout out Steel. Brian Equipment specifically, they gave us a steel blower to raffle off, and people were like, "Yeah, we'll give you a couple bucks to raffle this off," and that amounted to over $400 of people because the best part was they had to fill out each ticket so I could call them if they won, and while they were filling out those tickets, gave me time to explain every time, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, and some of these people either had advertising opportunities that they're like, I'm going to tell my friend who runs this advertising thing that they have so many followers, they'll post this and it'll be a good thing. Or, we know this person who's at this business that might consider investing in what you're doing.
Right.
So it was worth it on so many fronts. And the fact that we've made over $400 is going to, help us with other events to be able to do this stuff, because the problem is, like, as a nonprofit, is finding capital to continue moving forward, because there's so much operating costs that you don't think of. We have to pay for certain things just to exist.
Yeah, we had to buy every ramp and build it, and get all these boards and
these boards, we're looking for sponsors as a board sponsor to come alongside us to pay for boards that we can give away, because right before we went live, Adam was telling me, he's like, well, listen, there's this person that we need to give them a couple boards because they have kids who want to get involved and stuff, and they don't have the means to get the boards, and we run into that a lot. We want to give out these boards.
Talked about it for 5 minutes, and that's what I was doing. If you guys were here before we started actually recording, was I said, hey, let me finish a couple things. Yeah, I was setting up a time to go give them that board tomorrow.
That's what we're
on a holiday.
That is what we're about.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna make this stuff happen. So shout outs to Ace Hardware for letting us have that. Got to talk to a lot of people, and hopefully things will come from that. Because you never know the person you talk to, who they know, that could really be the one that gets the ball moving. And all I asked most of the people who signed up and everything was just like, if you know anybody, just mention us in your day-to-day conversations. Be like, man, I talked to this weird, this skateboarding group that was, trying to really further the community and blah, blah, at Skate Ohio. That's all you need to say.
Remember. Yeah,
Skate Ohio. They're trying to do good things. Look them up. So
and it was cool too, because again, it was right at the time Harper's birthday was. So I was just sitting there with my dad, and I'm a workaholic, and yes, I checked my email just because I periodically check the email and the Facebook group every now and then, just because, like, just to stay on top of it.
Way better about that stuff.
And I got a couple emails about, like, Cashapp stuff, and I just said, oh, nice. And my dad was like, what? And I was like, oh, kind of explained it, like what you were doing. And I was like, oh, looks like we're having a decent day, because a couple of emails came in. I was like, oh, I didn't really expect that.
Yeah.
And then a couple hours later, you told me the final amount. And I was like, wow. Like, did not expect that.
I was like, even the district manager for Ace at that time, he kept coming over. He's like, so many people are coming to your table. And I'm like,
that's the BJ effect.
Dude, it was just nice to have, just have the table there. And I was just kept yelling at people. And Rocky and Mary learned my patter. Like, this is what I kept doing. I kept doing it over and over again. And by the time that, like, I ended up having to keep walking away, I could hear them. Yeah. And they kept doing the same pattern.
Phrasing and certain things.
And they brought people over. This is money that goes back into the community. Come sign up. You might win this blower and you might blah, blah, blah. And they were just, like, bringing people in. So it was such a good feeling to, like, not have to stand there and make that happen. And just the fear of, I'm like, there's so much money in this thing right now. And like, luckily when Hannah dropped a kid off and picked up the one, I'm like, you need to take some of this. And because she even said, she's like, do I need to take some of that money? I'm like, yes, please. Yeah. And I'm like, here's all that, because I wanted to keep enough to, like, give change if people wanted to. But we had enough people even just be like, no, I don't want tickets. I just want to donate. That's awesome. Which is just a good feeling in general, and nice because it's all local. Yeah. And that's my store. I had enough of my regular customers be like, yeah,
Yeah.
we love you. We know what you're doing. Let's go. So that was such a great. It was just the most recent thing we did, but it was really great.
That was awesome. That was just yesterday. That's crazy. It's been such a long weekend.
I got home and I was so exhausted.
I bet. Yeah.
I was so exhausted, and it was just wild. It was just like, it's this whirlwind because you're just like, oh man, it was so successful and it was great and it was wonderful that Rocky and Mary came out and they got to experience what it is.
Yeah, the groundwork,
groundwork, and just start grinding.
That's the real grind.
Yeah, and so it was just this whirlwind, and I had to count all the money and just like get it all, and I put it in an envelope specifically. I'm like, man, the bank's not going to be open until Tuesday.
Like that's the thing too, like, the phrase nonprofit, like people are like, okay, you're dealing with a lot of money, like blah blah blah, whatever, blah blah blah, donations from businesses, and obviously there are those, but there are quite literal days where it's $1, $2, $5 at a time. Like it's not all $10,000 donations.
No,
we get a lot of single dollars, like here and there. So
a lot of people who will see what we're doing and give just their hard-earned cash. Yeah. Like all they had was $2. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, I might win a blower, but I love where this $2 is going, and left it. Those were the ones that like broke my heart, where it was just like, man, you believe enough that you just walked into an Ace Hardware to get a discount on something you needed, but also you're like, I got $2 in cash, and I believe where this is going.
And the cool thing too, like, we've been a nonprofit, maybe 9 months now, something like that.
Yeah, we're not even a year yet.
And that's crazy. But it's also cool to do these things, and I'm curious if Rocky or Mary ran into this too, where it's like, we're Skate Ohio, blah blah blah. And my favorite phrase, you know what my favorite phrase is that people say in response to, hey, we're Skate Ohio, blah blah blah, whatever? No. Oh, I've heard of you guys.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy, because it's like
the ones when they can spout like what you did. You guys are the ones that did the sled shed. It's like, yes,
sled shed, Liberty Park, right? Or Brass House. It's like, like
we're all affiliated, trying to work towards the same
family.
Goal. Yeah. So that's all dope as well. So one big thing that we ran into as well that I just want people to know about is like we love our winter sessions and everything, but our video just didn't get a lot of love because it's over on our Patreon, because we got beat up over on YouTube about copyright claims because the mix that I made has popular music. So I got fed up, and I reached out to Von Doom, and I said, Vaughn, I need beats. I need original beats that I can buy from you that Skate Ohio owns, that we can play, that we won't get flagged for, or that we can fight for on YouTube, because that's where we get the majority of our views to put our message out there. My dude came in same day. Same day. Within a couple hours, gave me we got 5 beat. Sorry, I hit a button.
Okay.
That's Kiki.
That's a new one. I didn't
You didn't know Kiki?
I don't think
It's all from Haggard, bro.
Oh, Kiki. Come on, Kiki. No, Kiki, come here.
I probably haven't seen that
whenever my cat shows up on stream, I usually do that.
Yeah.
But he sent me these 5 beats, dude, where it's just like these fire beats that you and I can just talk over when we need to. He split them up so I can do things, but we can put them
And I
on.
like that they're high energy too.
Yes, so that we can play these at all of our events, and people will still be jazzed by them. They'll get stuff done to these dope beats, but then they're ours.
Right.
We paid for them, they're ours, and that we don't have to worry about YouTube, or if they copyright strike us, we can fight it.
It's not possible for them unless Vaughn has copyrights on them, but
he doesn't that I know of.
So
but he sent them specifically to us with the ownership of them, and they're
with
great.
That too. Like if you guys are making any videos or need anything for social media or whatever, hit them up, because like these beats, like I mean, you guys just heard snippets, but they're very high level, like
they're
great
so good.
Beats. And the price point of these beats is insanely low. I mean,
$35 and you get the Wave and the MP3.
Yeah, like go hit up Von Doom, and
they're so good.
Yeah, he's gonna hook you up. For
and
sure.
You need to follow Von Doom on Twitch as well, because he makes the beats while he's
Live.
on Twitch, and he's like picking apart. It's fun to watch his.
Yep.
My favorite is when he has one built, and then he's like, "No, something's not right," and he goes back through, and then he like turns the level down on something else, and then he adds something else to it, and you're just like, "What just happened?
Yeah.
This is the best beat ever done."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Or like do a whole like tone shift or like octave shift.
Yes,
or
or even like I've been in there watching him while he just changed the BPM. He's like, something's not right, and he goes up to 145, and you're just like,
double
this
time.
changed everything.
Yep.
It's so cool. So
Yep.
yeah, shout outs to him for giving us
double
those.
time and half the snares, and you're golden. That's a whole new beat.
He is really good. So I can't thank him enough for doing that for us. So the event on the 7th is going to have all Von Doom featured beats.
Yep.
So it's really excited for that. So yeah, we just want to shout out him, but we need to like listen. We need to end it here soon, but
we only made it halfway through our list. Let's be real too. I mean,
if
there's
you could do
always
us,
updates.
if you could do us one thing, we need you to tell a stranger about Skate Ohio.
Yeah.
And what they're doing and what it means to you.
I was wondering what talking to strangers was up there. I was like,
well, that's
I know
what
you've
talked
been
about.
talking to strangers, but
if anybody else out there, anybody who hears this, if you could just tell people who we are
and to
what
be
we're trying
clear,
to
they
do.
don't have to be strangers. You can tell your family too.
Tell your family, friends. But if you just, if you're just in a conversation with somebody at work or something, and just be like, yeah, I'm a big fan of this nonprofit Skate Ohio. They're doing a lot of good work in the community. Oh, who are they? Well, if you go and follow them, they're doing good stuff. There's opportunities if you have a business for advertising and blah, blah, blah. We also have $1,000 level in what we're doing for a board sponsor to be able to get the Skate Ohio brand and your brand on a board, that the boards that we give away to people, and we'll be able to advertise and giveaways and all that stuff.
Again, speaking of the, I know we got to wrap up soon, but speaking of the online presence that we were talking about too, these board sponsors are great too, because people will often get a board from us and post it.
Oh, absolutely.
And those posts tend to go semi-viral because it's, somebody.
It's a kid who got a board and they're excited to go skate.
The smile on the face in the picture is enough for it to go viral. But so that, I mean, your business logo will be on the board as well in these pictures too.
100%.
And in any skate clips they post from here on out. So, the
so good.
People have to keep in mind too with the parks and the boards and all these different type of sponsorships. These sponsorships, they're like a one moment type thing, but they also live a long time as well. As far as advertising and people seeing your logo, 3 months, 6 months down the line.
Yeah.
You never know. Somebody could get their first board, love it.
It could come to you.
It could be a wall hanger too. They could be like, this was my first board ever. And now everybody that's in their house or business or whatever sees your logo also on that board.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like these are ways to advertise long term. It's not just a one-stop thing too.
So $1,000 gets us around 10 to 12 boards, full completes that we can give away. That'll generate a lot of talk and a lot of advertising for both us and the company that wants to do it.
Yep.
If you're interested, because it's also a non-taxable donation, if it would help your business out. We also want to thank, if you want to go over to our Patreon, there's a lot of free content there, and there's a lot of content behind paywalls, but every dollar in there, a lot of it goes to us paying for all this stuff. My cameras never work. My stuff is always broken.
Or
it goes
repairing ramps and all that.
Exactly. It goes to that. So we try to give a percentage of what we make in the Patreon over to the nonprofit to kind of offset, because it's what we're doing, but it's also got to pay for a lot of this stuff, because we got to pay for the events and all the microphones and all the stuff that we're doing. So we're doing that. So just big shout outs to our Patreon subscribers. We got Liberty 120, which is my mom. Shout outs, Mom.
Shouts out.
Leah Corto, Nathan Collins, which is our business sponsor. You can be a business sponsor on there where we shout out your business here.
By the way, saw him at B-Dubs a few weeks ago.
My guy.
Super nice. But we were on our way out. And I let Harper and Jess go, and I stayed to talk to him for a minute, and then they were getting seated. So I was like,
I got a dip.
Yeah, it's good.
But Nathan Collins, you gotta hit him up if you're trying to buy a car. You're looking for Nathan Collins over at Spitzer, over here in Mansfield, Ohio. Shout him. 419-631
4581.
Yeah, my guy.
I used to have it memorized.
We got it.
Apparently, we still do.
My dude has donated a lot of money to us monthly.
It's going on between this and other podcasts. He was a sponsor on Average AF.
He's given over $500.
I think Teach a Dummy as well.
He did, yeah.
He gave Average AF over $500 or close to it.
We're $500.
I mean,
through Teach a Dummy and
the man could be a board sponsor at this point. You know what 100%, I mean?
100%. Yeah, and he just believes in it, and he knows how it can help it. Like, because he can write it off, and it helps us.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can do advertising
dollars. He's been a consistent
dollars.
sponsor for something that we've done for the last 3 years at least.
Just a solid dude.
Love him.
Him and his family are just so lovely.
And
recently engaged.
He just got... Did he get engaged or married or
recently engaged?
Engaged, okay, yeah.
So yeah, it was dope I got to hang out with him recently. It was so dope. Sam Dunham, who of the Nerd Overload podcast, he's so dope.
Go check out that episode.
Dude. Oh, I was just on their podcast as well. The Nerd Overload podcast.
Magically forgot.
It was. I love their podcast. I listen to it every week, and it's just so much fun to be on it, to talk that type of stuff. But we got to talk nerd stuff. We got to talk skateboarding stuff, and just talk
wrestling.
And wrestling. I love talking wrestling. Mike Kovacic, my bandmate of Hannah's Basement, one half of Hannah's Basement. He always supports us, and Evil Tony still out there.
Shouts out.
My guy is still supporting us. So anyway, shout outs to all our Patreon subscribers. You could become one. I need to get him to this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him. Yeah. He's been going through a lot lately with his family and everything. So I've just been praying for him and just trying to big him up as much as I can. He has been, he streams on Twitch sometimes as Evil Tony, but then he's on, what's that other one? It's like Blue
Kick?
something? Or
Kick?
He's on Kick as well. Yeah. So go follow Evil Tony on Kick as well.
He actually does post them on YouTube as well, too, at the end. I have them on YouTube.
Yes, if you go to YouTube and follow Evil Tony, he does, man, he's a goofball. So he makes... In the wrestling games, he makes all of his people who are in the comments or in his chat the wrestlers. And Chaboy just won the world championship. Yeah. Just saying. So
set up. So I need you to do something for me for Tony. Just, next time you see him, I need you to do this. And I know you're going to hate it, but
I'll do it.
I need you to do this for him.
I'll do it.
Give him a heart hands. Give him a heart hands.
Sunset heart hands.
Just because I know you hate it.
Oh, goodness. All right. Yeah, we love him. We love all of our Patreon sponsors.
I don't even have to ask Tony. He hates heart hands as well.
I'm sure. I'm sure he and
Tell him it's from me. He'll love it.
So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for checking out this episode. Thank you for checking out these dope beats from Von Doom. My guy just knows what he's doing.
Fire.
Dude, we have so many good things coming, and I haven't even got to share the super intricacy stuff that's happening with the Lexington Park and Shelby Park yet, because a lot of those things aren't confirmed but are in talks. So there's gonna be more.
There's always more. Let's be real. To be honest with you, if you feel like it, message one of us at any point and be like, "What's the update?"
I'll tell you.
Well, our response will be, how much time do you have?
Yes.
Because there's
I talk about this all the time with everybody, but Adam and I work so well together because we're working on these, we have lives that can work in these different
pockets
of this nonprofit, and it's worked out so well for the nonprofit for us to have those slightly different frames
skill
of life. And it's been fantastic. We've been able to play off each other and everything. I mean, you keep telling me, you're like, man, I wish I could walk into business and do that. I'm like, my job allows that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish I had the wherewithal to be able to send the emails that you do and talk to the people like you do. I can't do that.
I literally
so we work well together.
Don't have time, any day ever have time. But while I'm doing other stuff, I can usually sneak off to the bathroom and take an extra long poop and send a couple emails.
I'm gonna post real quick.
We make it work when we can, but
we do. And it just so you guys know, don't ever forget that we're out there working.
Yes,
we're determined to one, leave this skate community better than we found it, get these parks fixed, get after school programming done so that something can live on and that there's a safe space for people to skate. And compete and learn and be better and everything. And you know what? Did you watch that last Dern Brothers video? Where they're talking about like, their quarantine and everything. My favorite thing
they put out a new one with Bam, by the way.
Yeah, that was the 4th episode. That was
Is
today.
that the one you're talking about?
So the episode they had today, my favorite part was the end. Was their mom was sitting there and they're like, she's like, I'm gonna leave you with what I told my boys every time they went out to skate. She said she told her kids every time they left the house. She's like, skate smart so you can skate forever, and land it or don't come home.
I just love that because
I'm like, that is amazing.
Look, okay, listen, we all have past, right? And that is amazing because you know what my mom told me after every time I would leave, and it was a joke type thing, but she would say, have fun, don't get arrested. And you know what I would say? Don't worry, I will. And she, and it was kind of a joke thing. But the two different the non-parallels there is hilarious.
It's just so funny to me. It's just like, skate smart so you can skate forever.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that great?
That's beautiful.
I loved that.
They need to make
so
merch
much.
with that.
Yes. Skate smart so you can skate
Shout
forever.
out.
Because I'm turning 40 this year, and I'm gonna live that.
Another merch idea I just want to say, I am 99% sure it was Dakota that said it. So shout out Dakota. Under the Kids Day post, he said Ohio Skate University. And I was like, that's going to be fire merch. And
I like that.
I don't know if we can take that because it wasn't our event.
We'll figure it out.
Dakota said it, but I'm like, dude, somebody's got to make Ohio Skate University.
That's so dope.
That's amazing. Yeah, so shout out Dakota for that one.
Yeah, love it. So with that, all I can say to you is skate smart so you can skate forever.
Yep.
Peace.